Hey everyone, welcome to our first webinar of 2023. I'm Sean Connor, CEO and co-founder of eTeam Sponsor. Today we have some exciting updates and information to share with you about our fundraising platform. We also, and more importantly, have an incredible lineup full of championship football coaches from the high school to the four-year college level that will close out the webinar. So let's get this started. First up, we have Nicole, one of our senior client success managers here at eTeam Sponsor, who's going to give you a brief overview of how our fundraising process works and the benefits of partnering with us. Nicole, take it away.
Thanks, Sean. I'm Nicole, a client success manager here at eTeam Sponsor, and I've been with the company for about 2.5 years. In my time here, I've seen many teams, including my own stunt team, really benefit from using our system. At eTeam Sponsor, our simple process is easy and effective. With our Team Funder product, you can get a campaign up and running in 30 minutes or less. As a coach myself, I know I have 100 other things I need to do. So the fact that eTeam Sponsor can launch a campaign in 30 minutes or less instead of an hour or two like our competitors really helps. Not only are you saving time, but you're raising more money. On average, our campaigns raise 2 to 4 times more than our competitors. Raising money with eTeam Sponsor comes with expertise. This company has 13 years experience raising money for your teams, totaling in $160 million. Our reps are current coaches and former players, and we understand the needs and wants for every team and here to help you every step of the way. Another great thing about eTeam Sponsor is that there's no upfront costs with our Team Funder product. Unlike our competition, there are no hidden fees when you fundraise with us. When you use our Team Funder product, we do not charge you even credit card fees. A key point is that we do more than 30 days of a campaign. When using Team Funder product, it's best practice to let it run for actually about 90 days. We typically see programs raise about $5,000 or more in day 31 to day 90. You're leaving money on the table with just a 30-day campaign. And with Team Funder, we deposit the money into your bank account once a month. We also use a 256-bit encryption to keep your donors' data safe. It's very important. With all that said, working with eTeam Sponsor is a no-brainer for any team looking for a fundraising platform that's easy and effective. My team has raised $28,000, and that money has gone such a long way for my team. Thanks for listening, everyone. And up next, we have John, who will provide an overview of the recent updates for the Team Funder product.
Thanks, Nicole. Hey, everyone. I'm John Laird, Senior National Director here at eTeam Sponsor, and I've been here for the past 8 years. For those of you on the webinar who haven't worked with us before, here's a quick overview of how our fundraising system works. For those of you who have worked with us for years, I'll be pointing out some of the recent changes to Team Funder, which makes fundraising with eTeam Sponsor even easier. So for those of you guys that haven't worked with us before, our big thing here at eTeam Sponsor is branding, and we want customization. We want to make sure the text, the emails, the social media stuff that's pumped out on behalf of your program by your players, we want to make sure we paint the picture however you guys want it to look. Our system is a blank canvas. Unlike our competitors where it's boilerplated, we know with our system being so customizable when it comes to the verbiage point, as you can see here, we're raising 2 to 4 times more than any other campaigns or fundraisers out there. So this is what it would look like when setting up the fundraiser. The campaign page would look something similar to this. Below what I just mentioned is the customizing of the emails. So we can very easily come in here, edit the verbiage that's in the letters, edit the verbiage that's on the campaign page to however you guys want it to look. We want to make sure we paint the picture the best way for your guys' program. Very easily to make those updates. Once those updates have been done, they're saved in our system. The reminder emails that go out, so the emails go out 4 times over 35 days to the donors. The reminder emails are customizable too. That way we're obviously changing up the cadence, changing up the call to action to maximize the most amount of donations coming in for the fundraiser. And speaking of donations, the nice thing with our system, unlike other competitors out there, you guys get your money once a month for the money raised in the previous month. So if we started raising money in the month of May, anything raised in May, a check or direct deposit is sent around the 10th of June. And then anything raised in June, it just filters into July. You spring football coaches need to start raising money now for helmets or conditioning. With our system, it's nice because you guys start raising money, you're going to get your money within 30 days and so on and so forth. Now, for some of you guys that have used eTeam Sponsor before, since March, we've added 3 key enhancements to the team funder process. So for you football coaches, the first one is the copy participant login link. And how that works is, as you guys know, at the beginning of a campaign, how do you guys get your student athletes to eteamsponsor.com? We've made it totally simple. You can either have the QR code up on the screen, or you can print it out onto a form. And when the student athletes, the players come into the classroom, they can scan that QR code. It's going to take them right to the login page for them to start logging in and joining the campaign, joining your football fundraiser. That's the number one. Number two, the participation report. We've made it even easier for you guys to keep track of. You now can click download the participation report. That participation report is going to download and into an Excel spreadsheet. That way you're able to run reports, click into that report to see who's raised what players haven't participated. So we've made it very easy for you guys to keep track of that. That's the second key update. The third update is we know social media is continuing to grow. So we want to make it very easy for your student athletes to participate and share it on social media. They simply are going to be able to click on copy your campaign link. That link now is going to pop up on their phone or screen, and they're going to be able to very easily put that onto any of their social media outlets that they may use. So those three changes and updates have been huge that you guys are going to be able to utilize for your spring football campaign coming up. Hey, thanks everyone for listening and checking in on eTeam Sponsor, how this works, and obviously the updates for you coaches that are returning to us. We're fired up to get your football campaign started here in the next couple months, and really looking forward to working with you guys again. Randy Coddington, who will give us a teaser of what's coming up in our next webinar in July. Randy, over to you.
Thanks, John. Thanks, everyone, for listening to some of our e-teamers today. I am Randy, head of product and co-founder of eTeam Sponsor. To close out the content section of the webinar, I wanted to tease the updates coming to eTeam Sponsor this summer. We're excited to announce that our next webinar in July will be about our biggest product update in company history, new athletic director view, new participant user experience that will lead to them reaching more donors and raising more, along with updated reporting and increased customization that you have been waiting for. We are excited for these upcoming product releases. Once we nail down a date for that next webinar, be sure to mark your calendars and tune in. All right, now it's time to hear from our championship panel. Lex, you're up.
Thank you, Randy and team, for all the information and explaining a few of the benefits of eTeam Sponsor. My name is Lex Selekna. I'm the Chief Revenue Officer here at eTeam Sponsor and ultimately responsible for all of our customer-facing teams. Now, I'm excited to begin a panel discussion with two incredible coaches and individuals who are also clients of eTeam Sponsor and consistently have done a great job in their fundraising efforts. My hope and goal for today is for the coaches and our athletic directors or anyone involved in fundraising that is listening on this webinar, is for each of you to have at least one or two takeaways or learn one or two new things today to ultimately improve your fundraising experience and the amount of funds you can raise for your schools and programs to ultimately really enrich and improve the student athlete experience. To me, that would be worth it. Now, a couple of quick housekeeping items and reminders before we get going. All the attendees on this webinar are listen-only mode. So all you coaches and ADs listening, if you have any questions, you should see a Q&A box at the bottom of your Zoom screen. Type any questions you have in there, and we'll do our best to get those questions answered as they come in. Okay, now I have the honor and pleasure of introducing this panel of football coaches and clients of eTeam Sponsor. Unfortunately, Coach Bob Lattiser could not make it last minute, but we're going to move on, and we still have a great panel to go through. So first up is Coach Jason Negro. Coach Negro has over 25 years of coaching experience and has been the head coach of St. John Bosco since 2010. Since taking over at St. John Bosco, Coach Negro has led his team to 3 national titles, 4 state championships, and 5 Trinity League titles, now which is today considered in many circles the toughest division in high school football in America. He's approaching 200 total wins. I would imagine, Coach, you're going to surpass that this upcoming season. And good luck to that. And I'm sure that'll be accomplished. And welcome, Coach. We're honored to have you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Lex. Just proud and honored to have an opportunity to share our experiences with the eTeams platform.
Great. Thank you. And next up is also Coach Andy Murfeld. Coach Andy is currently the assistant coach at Benedictine College in Kansas for the past 4 years and has almost 15 years of overall football coaching experience. He started out at Edgewood High School in Madison, Wisconsin, and the last 9+ years he has been in the college ranks coaching. Coach Murfeld has earned his master's degree in 2016 while coaching at the University of Minnesota Duluth, and he's a great client of eTeam Sponsor as well. Coach, we are excited to have you. Thank you for joining.
Thanks, Lex. I'm happy to be here. Just looking at the other panelists, it's clear to me that I'm here for the fundraising portion more so than the football portion.
That is not true. That is not true. You're a great coach and expecting great things in the future as well. Thanks for joining. What's great about this panel is we have a great broad spectrum of coaching, but also fundraising and using fundraising and also using the eTeam system. And we all know fundraising plays such an integral part for our schools and our programs and our athletes nationwide. I guess just kind of open it up, and you guys, either you can take this, is how important has fundraising been to your program throughout the years, and what about currently today?
Go ahead, Coach. You can start.
Sure. Yeah, it's a big deal, obviously. I mean, I think it's something we all, you never have, too much money to spend on your program, your kids, your coaches. That's really what it comes down to for us. And that's how we sell it to the guys, to the players, is that it's all about them. And so we could probably talk more about, some of the incentives that we do, but whether it's gear, pregame meals, traveling in a little bit more style, whatever it is, it all goes back to the players. And so that's obviously ultimately why we're all in this business. And so, again, it all comes back to that. So, but yeah, it's been a great thing for us, but huge for us to have the platform and be able to take advantage of our guys' work ethic and their networks as well.
Yeah, for us at St. John Bosco, we're in kind of Los Angeles area, just in case you didn't know where we're at, Southeast LA. We're not in a very affluent area. We have, quite a few inner city kids, but this platform allows us to be able to go out there and raise some additional funds for our program. We're in an all boys Catholic high school of about 750 students or so. And we have a great need to try to raise funds. And we don't want to nickel and dime our families because we are a tuition-based school. So the parents already have to, kind of invest a lot of their time and their own resources and financials in order for their kids to school here. So what we wanted to do is to try to take the fundraising off of them and place it upon their families or anybody that they might know in their social circle to allow them to support the athletes that we have. And like Coach was saying, you can never have enough protective equipment, uniforms, the gear that the kids wear on a daily basis. Or football's an expensive sport in terms of the product that the kids wear. We're a traveling program as well. For example, this fall, we're going to be traveling to Florida and Hawaii. So it's expensive. Those costs add up. And all we needed to do is try to find a platform that's going to provide us the necessary, tools in order to go out there and raise money beyond our immediate families. And that's what this has been able to do and why we've been so successful using it.
Great. No, thank you for that perspective. And as coaches, I know you have done many time consuming fundraisers throughout the years, car washes, student athletes are selling door to door, and the time it takes for that. I know I do as an athlete, I did that growing up. How has eTeam Sponsor been different compared to your past fundraising experiences and just some of the improvements you've seen recently?
Yeah, I think like Coach Negro said, just the fact, it's a tool. These guys have it down to the science pretty much in terms of, how often the emails go out and keeping track of things. So at least our head coach at a previous job, he had done a letter writing campaign where, the players are sitting down writing, handwriting letters, which, they don't even know how to do that anymore. So, this takes that idea, obviously, and automates it and makes it so much easier really on everyone to send out, multiple requests, until people donate. Again, just making it so much easier. And also, we can ensure now that the players have done their part. They've gotten their email addresses in, they're following up with people. We can see pretty well kind of what they've done and hold them accountable as we need to. So I think at least in my experience, in our experience here at Benedictine, it blows anything else out of the water in terms of the efficiency and what we've been able to do.
No, that's great. I appreciate that. And both of you, we're in a distinguished company here because both of you have done an incredible job raising over six figures on a single campaign. And so how to fundraise. You have some best practices, working with eTeam Sponsor or just in fundraising in general. What was your secret? Some of the best practices that you can give here? Because we're on the webinar, we have quite a few clients and also potential prospects as well. What best practices that you and takeaways could you give working with eTeam or just fundraising in general?
Well, I think for us, in terms of the program and the platform that eTeams provides, it's just so simple. As a coach, I don't want to spend a bunch of hours doing stuff. Whether it's car washes or going out into the community, discount cards and all those things. I know they have their own, purpose or their own place in the fundraising world. But for us, we don't want to have to spend a lot of time. I want to, spend a little bit of time, get your kids to buy in, which we have a tremendous amount of buy-in. I think that's why we're able to generate the money that we do. But the way that we approach it is all of our programs, and I'm assuming all the ones that are on here, athletic directors or coaches, have a spirit pack, cost or, a fees to be able to participate in your program. Well, what we do is we use the eTeams platform as an offset, dollar for dollar, whatever our kids raise, it wipes out whatever their financial commitment is to our program. So it's an incentive for them if they have to pay for, let's say, $800 fees for our program and another $800 for travel, $1,600. If they raise $1,200 through eTeams, that's only $400 now that's left over that comes out of their pockets themselves. Some of our families wipe out the entire amount using this platform. And I think the biggest thing is as a coaching staff, or whether you do it within positions or you have a lead that's in charge of the fundraiser, as long as you get every one of your student athletes in your program to at least submit the emails and then let eTeams go do the work. That's the beauty of this program, is they're the ones doing all the work. We don't have to do anything other than getting our kids to participate. Once they participate, I bookmark the little link that shows what we're bringing in, and I check every couple of hours, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow. And then as they've evolved as a company and got into the social media and the Facebooks and the Instagrams and Twitters, it's just blown up. So it's a one-stop shop, simple, easy, no stress to the coach, and it's basically free additional money to our program.
Great perspective.
Yeah, for us, a couple of things that we've done, like Coach mentioned, having incentives for the players. So really for us, we look at it, or we sell it to them, essentially as this is how you get your workout gear, team backpacks, things like that. And so we'll set a goal for that, or we'll set an individual goal for each player. And then, a portion of that goes towards their gear. And then, the rest of it, again, would go towards meals, safety equipment, travel, those types of things. So that's how we break it up. I think we're pretty organized with it. So we'll have basically like an intro meeting for the players every year. So when we do it, we'll get the team together. Our head coach will take them through the process, even though most of them have gone through it before, but he'll take them through the process, talk about the importance of it. We'll talk about, selling and being able to talk to people and ask for money. Again, like Coach Negro said, we don't want obviously it's college football and our guys are NAI. They're not paying, they're not on full scholarships. So their families are already paying for them to come to school at Benedictine and play football. So we don't want their families to have to pay anything extra, they pay enough as it is. So we want to go outside their, into their networks and the people that, we don't even know, extended family. I mean, we do recruit pretty heavily in California and Texas. And so we've got a lot of players that, their families watch every week, but they can't, they're not jumped on a plane to come to Kansas or Missouri, for a road game every week. And so, but they want other ways to contribute. So this is the way that they can do it is they, they watch every week. They feel like they're a part of the team. And now they can contribute as well. So we'll do the introduction meeting. We'll give the players usually, 5 days, 7 days to gather their email addresses, put those in to the system, and then we'll have a launch. And then usually about 2 to 3 weeks after the launch, then we'll do what we call a phone-a-thon. So any of the players that haven't hit their goal at that point, we'll bring them in the afternoon. For us, the past couple of years, it's been during spring ball on an off day. So we'll have position meetings and then bring them in together into a room, and then they're all making phone calls. They're on their computers, posting to social media, doing all the things that we've talked to them about. And it's actually amazing. Part of the what's worked about that is that the guys do not want to be in that phone-a-thon. So they'll do about anything to raise. If they've got $100 left to raise, they call their grandpa and explain the situation. They'll do about anything to not be in the phone-a-thon. And so we've had huge bumps each of the last few years, the week of the phone-a-thon, so that they can get out of that. So again, that's been a big deal for us. And I think just staying on guys, holding them accountable. Again, it's so easy to just see who's done what, who hasn't. That it's very simple and easy and straightforward to stay with the guys and hold them accountable, make sure they're doing what we're asking them to do.
I think that's great, because one of the challenges is having the student athletes or the players being accountable for the fundraising, and that's a great process to do that, because that nobody wants to be on a phone-a-thon. That is not fun to do, and getting that participation up and having them involved, because fundraising that it's so key to the program, and it's so important for their experience, and also good grades builds lessons too for life on how to raise money and what it can do. Coach Murfeld, we were talking earlier, the management and the visibility of managing the campaign and being able to log in and manage that. Can you talk through that a little bit about when you're using eTeam Sponsor and how that helps your program, what it can do for you?
Yeah, I mean, so what I'll do is I kind of run point. I'm one of our assistants. I'm the special teams coordinator. And so I'm one of the organized guys. And so I do our scheduling and a lot of the roster management type things for us. And then this is one of my tasks. And so as we do it, I'll just give, maybe once a week or every 10 days or however often we decide we need it. But during spring ball, I'll go through and I'll put a report, or I'll look at the, who's hit goal, who hasn't, who needs a talking to. Like maybe we've got a guy that hasn't put in any of his email addresses, and so he's really not doing what we're asking. And so I'll put together a little report, based on position groups for the rest of our coaches. We'll do the same thing for our incoming players as well. So we'll do a Zoom with our incoming freshmen in March and April to get them going on the fundraiser as well. And then we can do the same thing with them. So, following up with their recruiting coaches or their position coaches, whenever we decide. So again, that also takes it. So it's not all on me, or it's not all on our head coach. If I'm the O-line coach and I've got 5 guys in my group that that aren't doing it, then I can just have a conversation with those 5. But it's not so overwhelming that you've got the whole team to handle. You have one guy that runs point on it and gets organized for everyone else, and hopefully makes it easier for the rest of the staff, to stay organized and know what's going on with it. So hopefully that helps, Lex. I'm not sure.
No, that was great. That was great. Okay. Thank you. One of the things that I pride myself on here is we do our best to provide a world-class customer experience. We hear great feedback about the team and the people and the culture here. Can you just shine a little your experience working with the reps and your team of eTeam Sponsor, and how that's been for you throughout the years?
I could speak for, the rep that I have had has been absolutely phenomenal. The communication back and forth, very readily accessible anytime that we need them. And if they need to go in on the back end and kind of fix things or change as you start to reach those milestones and you want to bump that up, they're able to do that. My rep always comes out and I'll address my team to start it. And then he kind of comes in and talks about the nuts and bolts and what needs to be done. And it's about having a relationship, with somebody. If you want to have a positive experience with something, you need to develop a positive relationship with that particular rep, and especially if they're going to represent their company as a whole. And I think that what we do here at Bosco is we try to to partner up with the best companies possible that are going to provide us the most excellent service that we can give. And we talk to our families about that, because ultimately being a private school and asking our families to pay tuition, and they're clients of ours. So therefore, we need to provide them a great service. We ask E-teams to provide us a great service to make it easy for our families so they could go out there and reach the necessary goals as quickly as possible with as ease as possible. And the one thing that I do want to say where the reps kind of help out is we were very leery when we started this process about them having all of our families' information, and are they going to go out there and pitch them for other fundraisers, or is their information going to be secure? E-teams does a phenomenal job of protecting that, having all of that information secure, so our families can repetitively give year in and year out. And we even send this to our alums, our former players, all of our families that have participated in our program over the last 13 years. And we see a lot of those people continuing to give because they just appreciate the experience that their sibling or their, child or, whoever it was participated in our program, the experience that this platform allowed us to have by traveling and using the resources that we were able to gain to sync it back to the kids. Because ultimately, and Coach Murfield's probably the same way, whatever money we generate, it goes right back to the kids. It's not like we don't pay stipends out of this. We don't pay coaches. This is 100% driven toward student athlete, enhancement. So you guys, the reps have been phenomenal.
That's great. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I would echo everything. I don't have a whole lot else to add. We've never maybe had a couple minor things here and there, just trying to track down a donation or something like that, where maybe the donor didn't hit the link, or they refreshed it when they weren't supposed to, or things like that. But anything that's come up, we've been able to handle, and the system is easy enough that just from watching our account rep do it on a couple of calls, I can even go in and tweak something or resend a password to a player, or those types of things. So it's actually that easy that sometimes I don't even have to go to David to do something like that. Obviously if we need to, then we will, but it's easy enough that some of those things I can just go in and log in real quick and get it done and not have any issues. So no complaints there. It's been really good.
Awesome. Thank you, coaches. I know we promised a 30-minute window. You have valuable time, and we want to respect that. One last statement for Coach Negro here is why couldn't he let the Padres just score one touchdown in the state championship last season?
It's funny. I clicked on that little Q&A, and so I think Coach Logan, sorry, or Coach Wolf, I'm sorry about that. I don't know.
We'll go with that. No, it's a great season last year, Coach. And, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining. This was very helpful for me. And again, I hope everyone listening at least picked up one or two things and learned about, better how to enrich your fundraising experience for your student athletes, and also learn some about E-Team Sponsor as well today. Everyone have a great day, a great Wednesday, and thanks for your time. Thanks, coaches.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me.